Okay, welcome to your next module. We are going to be talking about tracking our analytics for our marketing purposes. So, KPI tracking, this is going to be where we're going to keep track of any strategy that we are doing in our businesses. It's super important to, of course, track to make sure things are working, make sure things are flowing very nicely. If we need to pivot anything, if we need to tweak anything, this is going to be what we are going to see. So, in case you don't know what KPI stands for, it's Key Performance Indicator. And so, we want to make sure that all of our main marketing strategies are in fact working or improving, and if we need to tweak something. So I have an example spreadsheet here, and this is something that I use, and this is something that I will do weekly. So we've talked about previously about having like a CEO day in your week where on Fridays or Mondays or whatever day of the week you want it to be, that this is one of the tasks that you can perform once a week to see your numbers. And this is something also that you can have someone fill out for you, like a virtual assistant, and then you can still then just go and review them, every once a week. So I have 3 tabs at the bottom here. The first one is Instagram, the next one is your website, and this is email. So let's just go to Instagram. And so let me go all the way back up. Oh, I am at the top. Okay. So this is going to be, again, just a very simple example. I don't have all of the numbers plugged in here. This is just going to calculate like the percentages if I were to plug in something here. So we can do week of, and then you can put the date in here, but this is basically how many followers you have. Then this is going to tell you the change, of course, in followers. This is going to be the number of impressions. Let me see. I forgot the column headings here, so bear with me for 1 second. Okay, so let me just use this example here. So followers, reach, impressions, and website clicks. So this is all on Instagram. So we're going to have our followers, reach, impressions, and website clicks. So followers, reach, impressions, and website clicks. So this can give you kind of like an idea of maybe a marketing strategy that you're doing, if that is in fact what you're trying to do, is gain more followers, increase your impressions and your reach, and then if people are clicking on your website. So this is a great indicator that maybe that your content is strong, or maybe that your content needs to be tweaked. And then this also is an indicator that you have to maybe get more clear on your ideal client, maybe that you need to tweak some of your wording, maybe reach out to your ideal clients and get some feedback. But again, this is a really good indicator that something that you're doing is working or not working. So whatever you're posting, it's getting website clicks. If you are talking about maybe your website itself, then you know that, okay, well, I talked about my website this week. Obviously, then I should see a spike in website clicks. So again, this is going to be a very high level thing. When we get into specifics, if, for instance, if I were to help you with like a launch plan or something, we would obviously then be looking at this from a perspective of the launch plan, being like, okay, well, we're doing engagement, we're doing all of this, outreach. We should see a constant growth in followers. And if you're just, generically having consistency of posting, then it's like, okay, well, what is our goal then here, right? Do we want to increase our reach? Do we want to increase our impressions? And then again, that really helps with creating like shareable content too. So there's a lot of different things that we can point out with this with these with these data points. All right, so let me go to the next one. It's a website. So with a website, again, this is going to be very generic, like high level overview, and you can have someone plug in this data and then you take the time to review it. So we can see, okay, well, the week of, this week, how many users did we see go to your website and how many total sessions? And this data would come to you from Google Analytics, or a lot of this information can come from your website host. So if you use Squarespace, if you use Wix, if you use WordPress, a lot of times this data will come from there. So total page views and then the bounce rate. So meaning like if your page didn't load, if it, people that didn't have internet or something, that's kind of like what the bounce rate is. So it's just kind of like, is your page working correctly? It also can mean that your, people that only went to one page and then left, they didn't stay on like your website to like explore more. So again, this is another indicator of how well is your website converting. Is your website driving traffic? Is it driving away traffic? Is it a good indicator that your marketing on social media is working? Maybe you've been using Pinterest, and then you can see the indicators of how well Pinterest is working. So then email. Email is another thing to keep track of. A lot of times these things can be kept track of on your email platform itself, but if you'd rather have all of your data kind of in one spreadsheet, that's a really good way to keep track of it. Campaign type would be if you're doing maybe like a launch or a simple newsletter, or if you could, some people like to say love letters, some people like to say just like regular emails. And then you can include the subject line here, because a lot of times the subject line is the biggest thing that's going to help you convert emails or have them at least open the emails. So we can see from here, if you record your, if you record the subject line, and then you can say date created, when did you send the email, how many clicks, how many opens, how many people unsubscribed, and then after 1 week, how many total opens did you get? So this is after 24 hours, and then how many total opens did you get after a full week? So again, like subject line is probably going to be the biggest indicator here of how well your emails are performing. So I will make sure I would make sure to just keep an eye on your subject lines and seeing what types of things are performing really well. Okay. So the next thing that I encourage you, I didn't mean to add two, but the next thing I encourage you to keep track of is content. So your individual content and how well it's performing. And so if you're on Instagram, a lot of times the content, again, you can see the analytics and it'll tell you what posts are performing really well as far as like reach and impressions. But one of the things that I like to do is I actually like to include the link to the post. I will just copy and paste the URL here. And then the next thing I will do is do date posted, likes, comments, category. And so I want to make sure that, if I ever want to come back to that post, I will, nope. If I ever want to come back to this post, I will have the link here, when I posted it, how many likes and comments, and the category. So meaning like this could be like content pillars. So this could be lead gen. Whoop. So this could be lead gen, and then I will have this data for myself to then come back and look at all of these.